Hey guys, how we doing today? This is Wally with LearningNet.com, and in today's video, what I wanted to talk about are some of the major pros and also a few cons of using A2 hosting. If you guys want to create a website with A2 hosting today, you better watch this video. I'm going to tell you about some things that I think you should know about A2 hosting before getting started, being that I've been hosting with them for several years. If you guys are new here to this channel for LearningNet.com, hit the subscribe button, guys, right below along with the bell, and that way any future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive them. So as I mentioned before, I've been using A2 hosting for quite some time. And during this period, I've been able to create different websites using WordPress. If you guys are new here to this channel, you'll notice that on the LearningNet channel itself, I have different tutorials, step-by-step tutorials, where I actually walk beginners through the process of creating and launching a WordPress website online. Many of the reviews and tutorials that I have on the LearningNet channel show you how to create sites using A2 hosting. So you're not just talking with somebody here who just like read the page or something like that. I actually have an account with A2 hosting. I've been using them for several years, and I really love using their web hosting. And I highly recommend that you use them if you're a beginner online, somebody who wants to save money both on the front and back end. So what I did for you guys today to help you to understand like many of the benefits and like disadvantages of using A2 hosting, I put together a little brief document. There are not a lot of items on here, but there's some things that I think that you should know about A2 hosting before you get started today using the links up below. So this is the link right here, and you'll find a link that's directly below in the descriptions portion of this video. Use it to get started today, guys. It is an affiliate link. I do receive credit for it if you use it. But again, I stand 100% behind A2 hosting because, as I mentioned before, I've been using them for several years. So when it comes to like advantages of using A2 hosting or benefits of using them, one of the things that I wanted to mention on back is that they're super affordable for beginners and even advanced users. All right, guys, so when you click the link that's right below in the descriptions portion of this video, it's going to bring you over to A2 Hosting's landing page, which is this right here. Now, you'll notice that they have several different types of web hosting. If you're a beginner online, don't worry about VPS or dedicated hosting because it's really for people that have a lot of web traffic already. Maybe somebody who needs a lot of resources. And if you're a beginner online, you do not need that right now. Once your website grows, like over time, you start building up more traction online, getting more visitors, not only from, maybe the United States, but if you're getting them globally, then you may have a need to, get like more resources. But for right now, if you're a beginner, I just highly recommend that you get one of their shared web hosting packages. There are 4 that you can select from. If you're a beginner, you should go with the startup plan itself. It's only $2.99 per month when you guys are using the links below, and that's considering only 12 months of hosting. Now, a lot of web hosting providers online, like competitors to A2 hosting, charge an average of something like maybe $150 to $200 for your very first year. An example of that is like SiteGround. They're very popular. They have really great web speeds, really great customer service, just like A2 hosting, but they're a little bit more expensive in the way of web hosting. And so, with A2 hosting itself, it's really cheap, very inexpensive, really ideal for beginners to save money both on the front and back end of the website creation. This will allow you to create one site. That's all you need if you're a beginner. If you want to upgrade later, you can do that. Right now, I'm personally using a dry plan. When I first got started with A2 hosting, I did start off with the startup plan. And I want to say at about 2 months, I decided to upgrade to the drive. You may or may not need to do that. It just depends on what you want to accomplish. Like I'm into affiliate marketing, network marketing, and I actually have different projects set up where I create sites online, maybe for others. And so that's really what I'm into. And the Drive, Turbo Boost, and Max allow you to create unlimited websites online. So again, if you don't need that, then you don't need to upgrade. You can just stick with the startup plan and it'll have everything that you need with it. In addition to the cheap prices itself, you get more than enough resources when you compare them to other competitors online. For example, you're getting 100 gigabytes of SSD storage. This is more than enough. Many competitors online that are out there only give you about 10 gigabytes, which is good. I've seen some that give you up to maybe 50 gigabytes on the very first tier. But, in the case of A2 hosting, again, you're getting 100 gigabytes of SSD. And so you're saving a lot of money, guys, across the board, both on the front and back end with your web hosting itself. So that's one of the major benefits and advantages of hosting with A2 hosting. Another one that I wanted to mention is that they're free website migration. So what this means is that right now, if you are hosting with a web hosting provider that you don't like, maybe it's a Bluehost, it's HostGator, iPage, another maybe EIG owned company. If you're hosting with one of these, companies out there and you're having issues and you want to move your website over to A2 hosting, you can do that today. When you get started today with the links below, you can request a transfer, a site migration. You can get in touch with customer support. They'll move your site for free over to their servers. So that's a huge benefit if you are hosting right now with a web hosting provider that you don't like or you've been having issues, with them, and you want to migrate your website over to A2 hosting. 100% free to do that, and it's completely hands off. They have really, really fast customer support. This is important because if you have any issues, you have any questions, or maybe just something you don't understand about your site, you can always pick up the phone and speak to a customer service rep. And they're really, really fast with the turnaround with, speaking with customers. I've been with them for quite a few years. Really, really love the customer support. They do have support through email and also through chat. And so it's really, really convenient and they're really fast on a turnaround. And that's something that you absolutely need with any web hosting provider that you decide to host your site with. Another thing that I wanted to mention, guys, that's a huge benefit are the website speed. So this is important for a number of reasons. The main reason is because Google measures website speed itself. It's actually a ranking factor. Websites, according to Google, that load less than 3 seconds tend to have better page experience with their visitors, and also they actually rank a lot higher, in the search itself. And that's important because, if somebody clicks through, let's say like right now, you were wanting to know, what are the major benefits and advantages of hosting with A2 hosting? What are the pros and cons, or the advantages or the disadvantages of using A2 hosting? You found my link online, but you click through, and for some reason the website delayed in loading itself. And so that's a huge deterrent with a lot of sites online, where the end result is that the user, the visitor in this case on Google, Yahoo, and Bing, they're just going to abandon your site and they're going to go to the next result, which means you might lose money itself. And so that's something that A2 hosting works really, really hard with doing, with caching and working on like page loads. They load very, very fast. And what really helps that, every web hosting provider needs to provide or have in place CDNs, which are content delivery network services. And so with these right here, they're able to process hundreds of thousands of visitors simultaneously without your website crashing, which could be the case. Like in my case with learningnetcap.com, it's a very simple website. You can see the layout that's right here. And obviously on this website, I promote A2 hosting. Why? Because it's just an amazing web hosting provider. And beginners that come to my site, search my site, for example, like on this home page, if you're on it right now, you'll see obviously there's a link here for A2 hosting. This is who I recommend primarily for creating sites online. And I've created different tutorials, step-by-step tutorials. I'll link to one right below. That way you guys can create your website today with the links below, following it step by step, and you'll be just as happy as people that have left testimonials on my site, on the YouTube channel, due to these tutorials itself. So they're very, very helpful, simple tutorials itself for WordPress that any and everybody that's following it, guys, you'll be able to create a very simple site, online. And again, this is who I promote, on the website itself, because I feel like A2 hosting is the absolute best web hosting provider for beginners online that want to save money and be able to launch a website on the cheap. A2 Hosting also uses cPanel. Most web hosting providers online use cPanel. A2 Hosting's cPanel looks like this. You'll see that you can set up email accounts, you can do forwarding, you can do tons of different things, guys, allow you to have more control over the management of your website or websites that you have online. You have access to different CMS platforms. WordPress is the most popular one that's out there, right? It's easy, it's very user friendly, doesn't require like any use or knowledge of like coding or HTML. If you know those things, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. A2 Hosting installs WordPress on your domain name for you, so you don't have to. So you don't need to know or understand the ins and outs of the WordPress installation process. A2 Hosting is going to do it for you. They're going to perform what's called hardening. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that very shortly in the way of security. But this is all part of the installation process of WordPress, something that I really love that they do and have in place to keep websites secure. You can do redirects with your domains. You can check all of the resources and stuff that you're using, for your site or your sites that you have online. If you have a domain name that you purchase either through A2 Hosting or you purchase it somewhere else, but you have it connected to your A2 Hosting account, what you can do is perform like redirects. So basically, if I wanted to like send people from learningnetcap.com and just redirect them to like another site, you can do that, through your actual cPanel itself. With any domain name that you have connected with your A2 Hosting account, you can do redirects. You can also check your visitors. How are people getting to your website? How is it that they're getting there? What type of keywords that they're typing in? Of course, you have things like your Google Console and analytics. All of these things help you guys to really measure the results, of your web pages itself. So again, A2 Hosting has cPanel. Most web hosting providers have it. And so if you're doing like a free site migration over to A2 Hosting cPanel to cPanel, it'll drag all of your data, all of your images and content over to A2 Hosting's servers, being that, both are using cPanel itself, if that makes sense. They have really, really great uptime performance. What is uptime performance? Uptime performance is really a measurement of how often your website appears online. Why is that important? Well, again, going back to the example of someone searching for a specific keyword, maybe a long tail keyword or something, or maybe your business online that they're searching for in your local city or area where you live at. And so, a website that has rock solid uptime performance, really great uptime performance, means that it's online all the time when people are searching online. The worst thing that could happen with a web hosting provider out there is that a person clicks through on your link from Google, Yahoo, or Bing, and they get like a message that says the website is offline or it's not available. And of course, again, it's a deterrent. It's going to move them to go to another website. And again, you potentially lose maybe a new customer, sales, amongst other things. And so again, uptime performance is extremely important. You need to host your website with a web hosting provider, guys, that has solid uptime performance on their servers, and that's what you get with A2 Hosting. So going back to the security aspect, I talked a little bit about hardening. When you create your website today with A2 Hosting, they're going to perform what's called hardening. Hardening means that basically A2 Hosting is adding an additional layer of security to your site. Why do you need this? Well, we live in an age where websites are bombarded with spam, with hackers, intrusions, brute attacks, DDoS attacks, you name it, it happens today, each and every day, each and every second on websites. And so you need a web hosting provider that really cares about security and takes proactive measures to not only secure your website, but to monitor it 24/7 and to perform different patches if it's necessary. And so that's another advantage that I really, really love about A2 Hosting. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is like the flexibility of payments. What I've seen over the years with like different web hosting providers that I've used or created websites with, like doing like tutorials and whatnot, is that I've noticed that some just accept maybe like MasterCard, Visa, maybe Discover, and all of those are great. It's really great. But in the case of A2 Hosting, they kind of open it up to different payments. So you have all of the major credit cards or debit cards that you guys, may be using, but you can even use like Skrill. You can use checks, like who's using checks? Somebody is out there using them, right? It's an option. It's still there. They have an option of Skrill. And one of my favorites is PayPal. So it's very, very convenient. They have more options with the payment methods that they have in place. And this is something that I really admire about A2 Hosting. Another thing that I wanted to mention that you don't find with most competitors of A2 Hosting online is data centers. Now, they have several data centers that you can select from, and they allow you to select which data center you want to connect to. That's important for a number of reasons. With a lot of competitors online, they will select it for you based on maybe the country where you're signing up with for the provider itself. But the benefit to you is that, let's say that we're in the United States right now, but your business website has visitors from a totally different country. Maybe it's somewhere in Europe that you're really focusing on or trying to hone in on. And so if you have your data center automatically selected for you, like in the United States, based on where you actually reside, the problem with that is that, your visitors will receive slower page loads. In other words, when they land on your website, or they try to access your website, it's going to load a lot slower. And so when you select a data center, guys, that is closest to where your visitors are coming from, it will allow them to enjoy a better page experience, faster page loads, faster delivery of your content across the web, no matter where your visitors are coming from. And so that's a really good plus, for A2 Hosting when it comes to, hosting or building your site based on the data center of your choice. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to mention that I feel is a huge advantage and pro for A2 Hosting is a money back guarantee. So with many and the vast majority of providers that you'll come across on the line, there are tons of them out there. Most of them only offer 30 days refund policy, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty much the standard in the web hosting industry to offer 30 days money back guarantee. But in the case of A2 Hosting, they offer you an anytime refund policy, an anytime money back guarantee. So today you may purchase, let's say, 12 months of hosting. Maybe you might do a year's hosting. Maybe you might go with 36 months of hosting itself. Whatever it is that you paid up front, you can always get access to a refund. And that's amazing, right? Because you might say, hey, 60 days down the road, 90 days down the road, I want to contact customer support and I want to get a refund for what I invested. And you can do that. You can do that only with A2 Hosting. I don't know if I've seen some that give you maybe 45 days, with some WordPress manager providers, 60 days. I think Mocha Host, they give you like 180 days, which is really great. InMotion Hosting offers I think it's 90 days if I'm not mistaken. And so it's really great, right, to have, the refund policy itself extended out, which is great. But in the case of A2 Hosting, nobody beats them when it comes to the money back guarantee. It's still open for the term that you have your web hosting itself, and you can request your money back at any given moment. And so I really love these things that A2 Hosting has in place. Of course, there are a lot of other things that perhaps I can mention, but these are some of the main things and points that I wanted to touch on in this A2 Hosting review. Now, let's talk about some disadvantages. There are not a lot of disadvantages with A2 Hosting that I've noticed. One is that they don't have the cheapest domain names itself. So when you create your website today, you're going to need two things. One, a domain name, which is going to be the name of your website. Like in my case, you'll see obviously it's learnernet.com. It's very simple. Doesn't have any numbers, no dashes, nothing crazy like that. In the domain name itself, it's very simple, easy to remember. People can share it online. They can link to it, from their website. They can do all of these things. And so you're going to need a domain name and you're going to need your web hosting, both of which you can purchase under one umbrella if you desire through A2 Hosting. But I prefer personally to purchase my domain names first at Namecheap. I do that because domain names there at Namecheap, I get them for like $5, $6. They're always less than $10 for like a .com itself at any given moment. In the case of A2 hosting, they run about $15, 15, $16. Still not bad, but again, it's not the cheapest in the way of domain names. And so if you want to keep everything in one umbrella and you don't want to like separate the two or buy, from Namecheap and then point like the name servers and do all that, it's a very, very easy process. If you need help with that and you want to know how to do it, I'll be more than happy to assist you with it. If you want me to do a tutorial on how to do it, that I can do as well. You can just drop your comments or questions below, and I'll be more than happy to assist you guys with that, okay? Another thing that A2 Hosting doesn't have for free, and that's domain privacy protection. What is it? Well, basically, once you register any domain name online, it doesn't matter who you register it with, basically your information becomes public on what's called the Whois directory. And the Whois directory, guys, is pretty much like maybe like a phone directory. For example, you may have like the white pages locally where you have like a person's name, their phone number, their address, where they live at. All of that is made public unless you pay a fee each and every year to keep that information private, right? And so the benefit of having this feature is that one, it avoids you from receiving tons of unsolicited phone calls and also tons or floods of emails coming to you each and every day with people trying to sell you things that you don't need, just spamming you. That's basically what they're doing. So A2 Hosting does offer the feature, but it's not free. It's an add-on. It's optional. It's not required today, to create your account and your website. But it's just something to think about. Of course, I buy it through Namecheap, as I mentioned before. I'll leave a link right below for them. I buy the domain there because one, it's cheaper. It's like $5, $6. It's always under $10, just depending on the type of domain name that I want to purchase, be it a .com, .net, .org, whatever it is. It's always cheaper, and it's usually less than $10, right? But they actually offer domain privacy protection for free on all of their domains, no matter what the extension is. And so, again, I wanted to mention that because it's not like a huge like con or disadvantage, but it's something you should know if you're wanting, that particular feature. Something that I wanted to mention is that the renewal. So anywhere you go online for web hosting, you're going to have to renew your web hosting at some point. In the case of A2 Hosting, you will see that for the first tier itself, it normally goes for $11.99 up front, right? But if you guys are taking advantage today of the links below, you're going to get it for only $2.99 per month. So it's a 75% discount today when you guys get started. But when it renews, let's say you renew after 12 months, the price is going to bump up to $11.99 per month itself. So what I recommend that you guys do today using the links below is that you purchase more web hosting up front. I recommend this for any web hosting provider online because the fact of the matter is no matter which web hosting provider that you go with, when it renews, the price will increase. It won't stay the same. In the case of A2 Hosting, I think across the board itself, when you look at their renewals versus others, you're going to find the best prices, online. But again, you need to know that when it renews, let's say after 12 months, if you only purchase 12 months, which is fine, it's going to renew at this price right here. Okay. And so just buy more web hosting. I recommend 36 months when I lock in, with the web hosting itself. And again, keep in mind that they have an anytime money back guarantee. So again, if you feel that, I don't know, 2 months down the road, 3 months, 6 months, what have you, that A2 hosting is not for you and you want to migrate your site somewhere else, you contact customer support. They're amazing. And you can just migrate your website and they will give you a refund, guys. And so the big question, obviously, that we need to finish up this review is, do I recommend using A2 hosting? I guess I do. I highly, highly recommend, guys, that you get started today using A2 Hosting. There's an amazing, amazing web hosting provider across the board. Again, I do have a link below that you guys can get started with today, and also step-by-step tutorials on my LearnerNet channel that show you guys exactly how to launch your website from scratch and to be able to install, WordPress and be able to send it live, online. Okay. And so tell me what you think about this A2 hosting review. Did you find value with it? I hope you guys did. If so, I'd really, really appreciate your support on this YouTube channel by doing two things. One, subscribe to this channel right now, hit the bell, and that way any future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive. And also smash that like button to show your support. And that way it lets me know that you guys found value today in this video. Get started today by using the links below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.